Hey, welcome back to JP Squared Outdoors. So tonight we are trying out the large Buc-ee's fire pit. I'm going to be cooking deer chili on it, and so I've got it all kind of set up, getting the fire going here, and I'm about to get to prepping. And so come along, we'll show you all I do to make deer chili. I'm going to make it over the fire tonight. It's one of the things that I like doing, and so I'm excited to be able to share this with you tonight. So follow along. All right, we are going to get started here. So first I'm going to cut up an onion. I thought it only fair. This is the only knife of the 4 knives that I got that you can see the video on my channel that I didn't use in processing the deer. This is the Tanto, and so I thought I'd use it tonight to do the prep work for the deer chili. And I'm going to be using some of the ground up deer meat. I'm going to throw, of course, a pound of sausage in there. And then also it was suggested that I throw a little bit, I ground up the deer meat with no added beef fat or anything. I just ground it up, and so I got a little bit of ground beef chuck that I'm going to throw in there, just a little bit of it, just to kind of maybe add a little fat content to what's happening there. And so got that. And then one of the things that a lot of channels, when they do their cooking, they have their certain seasoning that they like to use. Mine is Dale's seasoning. I use the reduced sodium kind, and every meat that I cook, beef, deer, chicken, I think I've thrown it on some fish too, maybe. I start off with Dale's seasoning. You can't beat it. Again, there's the regular kind, there's the low sodium kind, which we use. So about out of this one, but don't worry, I got a whole nother bottle of the Dale's seasoning marinade. That's what we start off all of our stuff with. So kind of cutting this onion kind of funny. I didn't cut it and chunk it up. I cut both ends off, so we're just going to dice it up a little bit here. I forgot what I was doing. Normally I figured out and learned how to cut it in half and dice it up. I'm normally using my chef knife. A little longer, it works a little better, but opted for the smaller knife tonight. So we're going to get this just kind of diced up a little bit, chopped up, throw some in the cast iron skillet over here that we're going to be cooking everything in. And I'll throw a little Dale's in with it, probably. And that'll be something you can cook up in. May throw a little bit of oil in there. Let them kind of get to cooking a little bit. And then we will go from there. Get the deer meat in here on top of them. With some more Dale's, of course. I don't put any Dale's on the sausage. We use Tennessee Pride. We're here in Middle Tennessee, so let's use the good stuff. Got the Tennessee Pride mild. You could use. We've used we've used a couple of different kinds. Can't find Tennessee Pride. I've also used the Tennessee Pride Hot before. Not the biggest fan of it, but with the hot stuff, I make my chili mild. And as I go through this, I'll show you what I'm gonna put in here. Let's get another little bit more of this onion here. Cut it up. We'll save the rest of it. I'm not a big onion fan, but I do put it in there for the flavoring. Just helps it out. no matter how you cut your onions up, just get them kind of diced up a little bit. All right. Well, let's get them little dales on there. Get them over the fire. Just get them to going down. All right, got those onions reduced. Got my deer meat here. My vacuum sealer was messing up, so I had to throw it in. Now I did not, this time, I did not brine this. I just, it sat on ice for a couple of days, and a lot of it drained out, but I did not brine it to get all of the stuff out. So it is what it is. I prefer the taste better, but the Dale's helps that, and so it gets it out. So we'll throw the deer meat in here, get it going. Got that. And then, like I said, I'm gonna throw a little bit of this, just got some ground chuck. Just gonna throw a little bit of it in there for a little fat content. Maybe not even a quarter of a pound. We'll see. So let's get some Dales on that. We'll use the rest of this. Maybe a little bit of garlic and onion powder. I went ahead and separated out those onions. Of course, my fire's going crazy here. That's all right. We'll adjust from there. So I'm gonna get that on. Get that started cooking there. Get my spatula here. Maybe a little more Dale sauce. Get it separated out. Woo. Already browning good here. Pour a little more Dales in it. Like I said, you can't have too much Dales. It helps that meat. Good stuff. Dale seasoning, like I said, they're out of Birmingham, Alabama. I grew up using it. My dad used it all the time. So it is what I'm going to use here. Let me check y'all out. See that what we got going on over here. All right, there we go. Said that's about a pound of deer meat and maybe a quarter pound of the ground chuck. There's our onions. Got my makeshift table and my kids' giant blocks. So yeah, we're getting it going. All right, got that deer meat in there. Got the sausage over here cooking. Had to redo my fire a little bit. Started going down, and so it's not cooking as well as it was. It's starting to get back there now, though. Finally, so we're got our fire built back up here, and we're gonna get it going here. Get this ear change done. While that's browning, I'll show you what else I'm gonna use here. So we always use, there's my tripod. This is my setup for tonight. Just on the porch. We use mild chili mix. It can be McCormick, it can be wherever. This is what I grabbed this time. 1 packet per 1 pound of meat. And so I'll sprinkle a pack on top of the deer meat, and then when I throw the sausage in there, I'll sprinkle the second pack on top of it, and then I'll start adding my tomato sauce and get it all stirred in like that. And just because my wife prefers this. I do not like using chili sauce, but we got about this much left. I just use all the beans I get are chili and chili sauce, but we got this much left in the bottle, so I'm gonna add that to it just for good measure. I don't prefer it, my wife does, so we'll put a little chili sauce in it and we'll have our chili flavored. All right, we have got our other pound of meat in there. Got our deer meat, our sausage, onions down in the bottom. Got both packs of McCormick seasoning on there. So next, we're gonna start putting the tomato stuff in. We're gonna start with 1 jar of my grandmother's canned tomato juice. It's got a little bit of chunks of tomato in it. So we're gonna start with 1 jar of that. All right. We're also gonna put in, let's see, a can of tomato sauce. This pot's a little small, honestly, so I have to kind of watch what I do with it. I'm gonna start with 1 can of petite diced tomatoes. All right. And then I'm probably gonna need a spoon for this, but I put 1 can of tomato paste. This is the one I found. I'm probably gonna have to go get a spoon. See if I can. Yep, it ain't coming out. Okay, well, so I'll put that in a minute. 1 can of tomato paste. And then after I kind of get it stirred, get it started, I see if it needs any more, whether it be a tomato sauce. I have another small can. I got another jar of my grandmother's tomatoes. I got another can of petite diced. And then I just got another small can of the tomato sauce. So I'll put all that in there and get it going, and then I will put the beans in a few minutes. All right, so I brought that to a boil, and now I'm gonna start adding the beans in. So I've got, so far open, I have 3 cans of chili beans in chili sauce. I'm gonna add all 3 of those cans. Tasted it before I tasted it a minute ago. And then also, so I have a can of light red kidney beans and a can of dark red kidney beans. I also have another can of dark red kidney beans and another can of chili beans. I'll probably put those in. Drain the juice a little bit off both of those. That'll put them in there. Those no juice beans. I also had to dump in, I can't remember if I said this, another can of my grandmother's, another can, didn't have a lot of juice, but another can of my grandmother's canned tomato juice. And so I'm gonna drain the other can of dark kidney beans and put the chili beans in there, and that's how I make chili. Pretty standard for myself. I of course vary on the cans of beans depending on the size of the pot. This particular pot, like I said, is not as big as some, but y'all seen some of my other videos. I picked this up for $25 at a yard sale several years ago. And I only use it for cooking over the fire. I think I've used it maybe one time inside. So we're going to bring that back to a boil, then we're going to get it off the heat. See, it's already hot. Going to get it off the heat, kind of into some indirect heat, and let it finish cooking up. Just kind of let it work that way. Get y'all over here real quick, get a bird's eye view of what we got cooking here. Look at that goodness. Money shot right there. Yeah. Oh, chili. We'll get the finished product shown in a little while. Like I said, I'm gonna let it boil, come to a boil. I'm gonna slide it over here to the side, let it kind of simmer in direct heat. Of course, this wind is not being my friend too much tonight, but we'll let it cook for 20-30 minutes maybe. Let it all get simmered in good, and then it'll be bon appetit.
Good chili, ain't it, Micah?
Yeah. See how it's like.